Okay, Houston, we have a problem. And by problem, I mean me. And by me, I mean I have bought far too many books to count. I literally forgot that I did not upload a video for the month of February. And I was supposed to be on a book buying ban for the month of March. But as you will see in this video, that didn't happen. That totally did not happen. So we're just going to go through all these books that I have picked up and we will see what happens. Hi everyone, my name is Rose, also known as T.A. Summers. Welcome back to my channel. As you can see from the intro of this video, this is going to be a book haul video and I have a lot of books to go through. So this is going to be pretty rapid fire. I do not want to spend too much time on this because I'm filming this as a one in a series of videos to upload to the channel. By the time this goes up, this will probably be the very end of the month. And so like gotten behind in terms of being able to upload things to the channel, and it's just basically because of doing different things. So I'll say that. I will say that I also ended up changing video editing software, so the videos are processing a lot faster, which thank goodness. That means I can upload more, and once I finish editing those will be coming up on the channel as soon as possible. So that's something to look forward to. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into these books. Before I even get to that, first thing I want to say is that this is a combination of 2 months worth of book hauls. So for the month of February, I purchased books and I did not highlight them on the channel. And for March, respectively, I was supposed to be on a book ban. Obviously, that did not happen. So this is 2 months worth of books that I've accumulated through either buying firsthand, secondhand, or in generally just picking them up. And so these are all physical books. I'm not going to highlight any ebooks or Audible purchases or audiobook purchases because I think they were relatively minimal like for the last couple of months. So if I do have any digital purchases, I'll just feature that in a different video. But this is going to focus on physical books only. So you can tell that this is going to be a massive video based on, I have them all lined up like below me, like in terms of where you can't see in terms of the camera angle, but we're going to get into it. So the first thing that I want to do is highlight my March book of the month picks, 2 books total. So the first one I want to feature is the adult debut of the author Roshani Chosky, The Last Tale of the Flower Bride. And as you can see, this is a really pretty cover. This was one of my picks for the book of the month for March. I don't believe it was the main pick. I think this was my add-on for the month of March. So I'm definitely excited to be able to get to this. And the second book, which is the main book that I picked for the month of March for the book of the month pick, is The Adventures of Amina Al-Sirafi by Shannon Chakraborty. And I'm very excited to be able to see what this is about. I have read a little bit of the Davabad trilogy. I have not finished it as of the recording of this video, but I definitely plan on getting to it sometime this year. A series of stories that I'm really excited to be able to get to. Next, I'm going to highlight some hardcover books that I was able to pick up in the month of both February and March. I'm not 100% sure the timing of these. I do know that all of them are ones. One of them I did feature in a previous video in terms of my TBR for the month of March, so that will be featured in a later video in terms of reviewing what I've read in the month of March. Hopefully before the end of the month. I'm not 100% sure, but we shall see. But the first one that I want to highlight is the sequel to, I believe, Sorcery of Thorns, or it's a companion to the Sorcery of Thorns book, which I have not read, but I definitely do have it in my my personal collection, and so I'm definitely planning on reading that before I get to this one. This is Mysteries of Thorn Manor by Margaret Rogerson. As you can see, this is a really pretty cover, and this is the hardcover version. This is a relatively short book. Like, I'm not 100% sure if this is actually a novella or if it's a full-length novel. I think it's a full-length novel though, but it's just like relatively short. But I'm definitely excited to be able to breeze through this. This looks really like a really nice story and a nice companion to Sorcery of Thorns, which I was pulled in by the cover of both of these. Eventually, I will definitely get to this, but I want to read Sorcery of Thorns before I get to this, so that will be coming. Next book I want to feature is one that I believe I may have talked about, or I may not have talked about. I am not sure. It's definitely one of my most anticipated reads for this year, and I have been waiting very patiently for it to release, and it's such a beautiful cover. Such a beautiful cover, and essentially, like, I definitely plan on getting to this very soon. This is The Davenports by Crystal Marquis. I really wanted to get this as a galley, and unfortunately it didn't happen, but I was so happy to be able to pick this up at my local bookstore, and you can see it's really reflective, but I'm excited to be able to get to this as well. And the last hardcover, I didn't mention that the Davenports is considered YA historical, so, and I think it's YA historical romance if I recall correctly. This one is YA horror. I featured it in my TBR video for the month of March, so it's no surprise this is Lizelle Samberry's Delicious Monsters. And I will definitely let you all know what I think of this once I finish it. All right, so the next bit, I am going to go through all of the mass market paperbacks that I picked up in the months of February and March. And there are a ton of them, between adult romance, between sci-fi fantasy. Yeah, I think it's majority adult romance, sci-fi, and sci-fi fantasy. And one of these is a signed edition that I was not expecting to get, and I absolutely was happy to be able to pick it up. So we're going to go ahead and get through it. So the first two that I'm going to feature are sci-fi fantasy. No, I think both of these are actually urban fantasy. So yeah, like, we'll go with that. So this is one of the books in a series that I started a long time ago, that I have not finished, but I've been slowly collecting the books in the series to be able to add to my collection and then read in full. This is from the author of Tricked, Kevin Hearn. This is Trapped, and as you can see, it's a signed edition. So I was excited to be able to pick this up. I believe this came from Barnes & Noble. So it's a designated signed edition that I was able to pick up, and lucky from my local bookstore. So I'm glad that I was able to be able to find this. And then the second one is also from another urban fantasy author that I am very familiar with. And I'm excited to be able to read more of his work. This particular series I have not started, and this is the first book in this respective series. This is The Man with the Golden Tort, a Secret Histories novel by Simon R. Green. So I think it would be easier for me to go through the contemporary romance mass market paperbacks that I picked up between the months of February and March, because if I go through the other ones, I picked up a lot of historical romance mass market paperbacks between the months of February and March. So that's just something that you will see like after I finish this particular section. But all of these are contemporary romance. These are new to me from these authors, some of which I was able to get as galleys from NetGalley and digital things, and I had pre-ordered them. Others of them are new to me, so we will go through these pretty rapid fire. All of these, I believe, are Harlequin. Yes, all of these are Harlequin, but they come from different lines. So the first one I want to highlight is A Kind of Cowboy Thing by Reese Ryan. And as you can see, this is the cover right here. Really cute cover. The second one is Second Take It Love by Nina Crespo. This is really cute too. This is from the Harlequin Special Edition line. The third one is Two Rivals One Bed by Zuri Day. This is from Harlequin Desire. Then another Harlequin Special Edition, The Best Man's Problem by Sarah Taino. And then the last is from an author that is very familiar to me, that I have read for years. This is Lori Foster's Osborne Brothers. I believe this is the first in the series. This is The Dangerous One, so romantic suspense. And I believe this is from the Harlequin line. Yeah, Harlequin. So when I tell you that sometimes if I am familiar with the series and I have not read the previous books in a particular series, I will often buy the whole series just to be able to catch up with a particular book in terms of things. So I had pre-ordered the 4th book in this particular series, but I realized I didn't own any of the previous books in this now 4-book series, I believe, from this particular author. And this is from Joanna Shupe, the Fifth Avenue Rebel series. So I bought all 4 of the books in this series across like the last couple of months. So the first one is The Heiress Hunt, which is this is the cover for it right here. And forgive me if I'm getting the order wrong in terms of things, but I think this is the 2nd book in the series, The Bride Goes Rogue. Hey y'all, Editing Rose here. So I just want to provide a quick update in terms of something that I got wrong in the video. So I switched the middle 2 books. So essentially the 2nd book is actually the 3rd book in Joanna Shupe's series, and the 3rd book is actually the 2nd book. So basically switch the 2nd and the 3rd book for order, and you've got the order of the series of that particular series of books. My bad. I'm sorry. We'll keep it moving. Editing Rose out. It's a really cute cover. The 3rd book in this series, which the size of these they're mass market paperbacks, but they're different sizes, which kind of bums me out, but I'm just glad to have them, even if they're not consistent. This is the 3rd book in the series, The Lady Gets Lucky. As you can see, this is the cover right here. And then the one that I pre-ordered that finally arrived is the 4th book in the series. This is The Duke Gets Even. As you can see, this is the cover right here. So I have all of the books in this particular historical romance series. I definitely plan on reading it. I am not 100% sure when, but I definitely look forward to reading this entire series because it seems like it's a delight to read, and I've heard very good things about it. And so the next 5 books are also adult historical romance, and all of these are from different series. Some of these are the first in a series, and some of these are just following up with a longer line series, and some of them I already own, and I've probably even talked about them and featured them on the channel before, but we're going to go through them quickly. The first one is from an author that I've heard about for many, many years, and this is one of her latest. This is from Lorraine Heath, The Counterfeit Scoundrel. So you can see this is the cover right here, and I believe this is the first in a series, which is The Chessmen Masters of Seduction. So this is adult romance. This is from Avon. Next one is also a first in a series, I believe. This is from Megan Frampton, who I'm familiar with as well. This is Her Lessons in Persuasion from the School of Scoundrels series. So you can see this is the cover here. It's really pretty. This next one is one, I don't know if I picked this up in February or if I picked it up before, and if I've featured it on the channel. If I have, I am sorry, because this was in my stack for what I had set to decide to be able to feature in this video, so it may be kind of a fluke, but just in case it's not, I did get this as a galley from NetGalley initially, but then I also picked up the physical book as well. This is Some Dukes Have All the Luck by Christine Britton. As you can see, this is the cover right here. And I think I featured this in the in my galley haul, like in terms of being really interested in picking this up. So I finally have the physical copy, and I'm excited to be able to get to it. And then the last one, or the last 2 books that I want to feature is, I believe this is the 3rd in this particular series, by Emily Sullivan. I have the first 2 books, so I'm definitely planning on reading it. I have not read them yet, but I want to. This is from the League of Scoundrels series, The Hellion and the Hero. So you can see this is the cover right here. And then in terms of Ava Devon, I have mentioned Ava Devon on the channel before. I have the first 2 books in this respective series. This is the 3rd book in that respective series, I believe. Let me see. just to double check it. Yes, it is the third book in this particular series, and I have the first two, which is the Spencer and the Rake and Much Ado About Dukes. This is the third book, The Duke's Secret Cinderella by Ava Devon. As you can see, this is the cover right here. So it Avon is on there. Like Avon and Entangled are both on their cover games in terms of things. This is an Entangled series, so just want to make sure that I've gotten the publisher right for this. And then for, I think, for Emily Sullivan, this is Grand Central Romance for this one. Let's see. This is From Forever for Christina Britton. And I think these other two, let's see, Lauren Heath and Megan Frampton are both from Avon. So I just wanted to make sure that I clarified that in terms of things. I have a lot of both historical and contemporary romances from a lot of different lines. So I just have to make sure that I keep my ducks in a row for that. I'm excited to be able to get to all of them though. So that just kind of shows you how much of a bookworm I am. So the next set of books and the last set of books that I'm going to feature in this book haul are all trade paperbacks of various genres, and most of these are adult, but one of them is a nonfiction. One of them is, I think, considered literary fiction. A few of these are fantasy, sci-fi fantasy, and I think at least one of them is YA. So we're going to go through them relatively quickly. The first one that I want to highlight is a book that had been long out of print that I really wanted to get my hands on, and I finally have been able to pick it up for myself. This is one that I definitely plan on keeping in my collection. This is Black Women Writers at Work. This is edited by Claudia Tate and forward by Tilly Olson. This is the cover up for it right here. It features a lot of essays by different authors, including Maya Angelou, Gwendolyn Brooks, Nikki Giovanni, Toni Morrison, several different people. And I know that this is considered a classic in literary circles in terms of talking about the different methods and methodologies and experiences of Black women who are writers, and essentially like what inspires them and their methodology and things like that. So I'm definitely looking forward to being able to read this, and I'm glad to have it as a part of my collection. The next book that I want to feature is considered, I believe, literary fiction, and this is from a very, very popular author. And also this was a recommendation that was given to me by one of my coworkers, actually, in terms of references. So I'm definitely excited to be able to see this a particular author is about and experience his work for my own. This is from the Pulitzer Prize winning author of All the Light We Cannot See. This is Cloud Cuckoo Land, and this is the paperback version. I'm excited to be able to read this for myself and give you my thoughts about it as soon as I possibly can. The next one is a paperback book of a galley that I had gotten originally on NetGalley. I was able to pick up the paperback version of this first book. The second book is supposed to come out in relatively soon. I think relatively soon. So I definitely want to be able to prioritize this particular book before the second book comes out. And I do have the second book in the series as a galley, so I'm definitely excited to be able to pick it up. This is Annie Davenport's The Blood Trials, and as you can see, this is the cover right here. And I believe this is adult sci-fi fantasy. It is not YA. Originally when I had requested it as a galley, I had believed that this was YA, but it is very much not. And people definitely let me know that when I asked about it. So I'm excited. I've read a little bit of it, but I haven't finished it. I'm definitely planning on reading it and reviewing it in full. And I'm actually really excited to be able to get back to it and essentially get into the second book in the series as well. Next book that I want to feature is one that I feel like I've talked about on Twitter in terms of anticipated sequels. This is the second book in a duology, and it recently came out in paperback form. So I have a paperback version to match the paperback version of the first book in this particular fantasy duology. This is This is book 2 of Malice. This is Misrule by Heather Walter. As you can see, this is the cover right here. I really love this lilac cover, and essentially it's evoking of the retelling of the fairy tale of, I believe this is a retelling, retold series of Sleeping Beauty. Next one I want to feature is actually the only YA title that I have in terms of trade paperback, and this is one that had gone out of print for a little bit, I think, and I had the hardest time trying to get my hands on the paperback copy because it has such a cute cover in the paperback, and I knew I wanted to pick it up in this particular version, and now I finally have it. And I had also been trying to read more of this author's work, because basically everything that I've picked up from the author have been stories that I really love, including her short stories. So now I have a full novel of hers in my collection. This is The Beauty That Remains by Ashley Woodfolk, and I'm excited to be able to pick this up and give you my thoughts about it. Alrighty, we are down to the last 2 books, and this is quite exciting because they're both highly anticipated sequels to their respective series. One which is the final book in a trilogy, which I'm going to get into first. I have the other 2 books in this particular trilogy. The first one being Ashes of the Sun, and the second one being Blood of the Chosen. This is the 3rd book, and this has come out in paperback. This is Emperor of Ruin by Django Exler. As you can see, this is the cover right here. And I was very intrigued by the premise of this entire collection. Please do not spoil me. I'm definitely looking forward to being able to dive into this trilogy for myself from the very beginning, just basically going in blind and seeing where it takes me. But I've heard great things about it, so I'm going to see where it takes me to tell you. And then the second book is the follow-up in a highly anticipated book, which is The Unbroken. And so this one just came out in paperback form. This is The Faithless by C.L. Clark. So that is it for my book haul for the months of February and March. This is a sizable collection. I definitely want to be able to pick up like all of these books in a timely manner. But the interesting thing is like, I've bought a lot of books, even more I bought more books than I've been able to actually finish, since it's been kind of a sluggish reading year for me in general for 2023. But I'm hoping to be able to pick up some of that momentum between both my March reads as well as my reads in April. So we shall see what happens. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button and notification bell to be informed of when I post more videos on the channel, and even more videos like this one. Thank you again for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next video.